that better?
Oh yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
Hey,
You're
dude.
you're in you're beside yourself.
Mm.
At least on our end, you are.
Yeah, I can see it too. I'm to the left of Eric. I don't know what that is.
You're beside yourself. So yeah, we're looking at super hipster Steve from Blue's Clues.
Hmm.
Apparently today was the 20th anniversary of Blue's Clues.
Oh, there he went.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it's the 20th anniversary of Blue's Clues, and Steve is like a super hipster now.
Mm.
But he's got a really good sense of humor about the whole thing. So that's cool, I guess.
Well, happy 50th birthday, Star Trek, too.
Yes, happy 50th birthday to Star Trek. I gotta give Facebook credit for the reaction
And
images today.
Of what?
If you
I never
go
got them.
if you go to Facebook and you go to like something and you hold it down where you have the other options, they're all Star Trek
Oh,
themed.
is that Spock?
They're all Star Trek
I never
themed
got-
today.
I never got those.
Oh. Maybe
Like mine-
Facebook's trying
mine
to
were-
tell you something.
Mine were the standard ones.
Mine were all like everything in my feed, even old stories, were changed. So I don't know.
Let's look.
Maybe I'm just not nerdy enough for Facebook to change that for me.
Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Yeah, if
I
I'd
guess
known,
maybe I'm not nerdy for TV.
if I'd known that I was that it was Blue's Clues anniversary, I would have celebrated by wearing my my Blue's Clues shirt to work. I have a accidental Blue's Clues polo. I don't think I bought it. I think it was bought for me because I have a blue one that goes with it, or that matches it rather. But I've worn that polo for years, and no one's ever pointed it out until last year. One of my students was like, "You look like Steve from Blue's Clues." I was like, "Yeah, that's true." Now that you mention it, yeah, I can see that. Um, so yeah, that's a thing. But
Well, this is off to an energetic start.
isn't it though? It's just yeah. I'm just sorry. So new PlayStation,
Woot
Yeah.
woot.
PlayStation 4 Pro, with all of the specs that the Xbox One S already has for $100 more.
hmm
Like
Yeah.
normally I'm like, okay, well done Sony, but Sony's actually behind the ball on this one.
Yeah, like their big claim to fame on this one is it has 4K capability, but most people don't have 4K TVs.
Right.
And most games are not scaled to 4K yet, so it's
Right.
like, why waste the
Oh, and,
money?
Well-
and they aren't even,
Go ahead, Eric.
and they're not even going to support 4K Blu-ray or whatever the format is on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
The way I look at it with the 4K thing is nobody used Blu-ray when the PlayStation 3 came out.
Yeah,
So maybe they're just trying to be ahead of the game, but
yeah.
really
Well, but with
everything
the
that
PlayStation,
the
there's a
PlayStation
Blu-ray and HD DVD at the time.
right, everything they announced that like even Microsoft threw shade at them about it because they went through all the stuff that the Pro was going to have, and it's $100 cheaper, and it's available now. The Pro isn't going to be available until November.
Yeah, but at the same time, Microsoft is notorious for touting things that don't actually come to fruition. Sony doesn't release their hardware until they've got all the kinks worked out.
That's true. And
Yeah.
they are dropping a firmware update on all existing PS4s
Mhm.
next week. Like when the new slim PS4 comes out with the $100 price drop, is like on the 15th or something ish. There's going to be a firmware update drop for existing PS4s that's supposed to add some of the functionality that the new baseline PS4 will have on it.
That's good.
So y'all will get a firmware update next week or the week after.
God help the people who have data caps on there.
Oh, I know, right? That firmware update's going to be huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is finally
like-
going to get us in the range for a PS4. As long
That's
as
good.
as long as Steph and I don't have to adult too much between now and Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, adulting sucks.
Adulting
While
does
being
suck. 'Cause
very awesome.
we may have to buy a washer because our washing machine is starting to show its age. And well, if you're going to buy a new washer, you may as well get the set. And so we're probably going to be buying a new washer and dryer before the end of the year. So I may not be getting a PS4. But if everything works out with this price drop down to $299, that's affordable. I can manage that.
Yeah,
And-
and I mean, the woman folk can always get a big bucket and a washboard, and it does the same thing.
That's true.
I mean,
Um,
washing machines are a luxury. PS4s are a necessity.
Exactly. And I figure at around the holidays there'll be a decent bundle that comes out, or
Oh, for sure.
even probably another $50 price drop just for the holidays. So I'll be able to get one. And worst case, there's going to be a mad rush of people trading in their existing PS4s for a Pro.
Mhm.
So the used market may blow up around November anyway. So I should be able to swing it where I can finally get a PS4 by the end of the year.
That'd be cool.
So get
actually-
Steph.
Actually,
Final
have a
Fantasy.
squad.
I know, right? I get Steph Final Fantasy 15, and then I've already loaded up my Amazon wish list with like Uncharted 4 and Arkham Knight and Street Fighter
Well,
5 and
See, that's the good thing about buying one so late in the year is you have all of the Game of the Year editions for
exactly.
half the original price. So you
No,
can buy
Exactly.
you can buy 2 games for the price of one at that point in the
Chris,
year.
if you want to borrow any of those games for 2 years,
Right.
Is anybody
our-
having trouble understanding Eric?
He's just got a really bad. He's in
I'm
a
headset.
bucket. We discussed that. He's coming to us live from a bucket.
Oh, okay.
He fell
But-
down a well.
Yeah.
He fell down a
and
well,
Lassie
actually.
Lassie's not available to help me.
Mm.
I'm cracking myself up over here.
Why is no one laughing?
Why aren't you laughing?
These jokes are hilarious.
Yeah, I saw the name of the most recent episode. I was
Right.
like, oh, nice.
I thought it was fitting because none of my jokes worked, and we talked about the Killing Joke, and so I just thought it was a very fitting title.
Oh, I was going to tell you guys. I finally caught about 80% of Suicide Squad. I wasn't able to catch the last 20% because the stream cut out. But man, there was some serious pacing issues with that movie, wasn't there?
That's what I hear.
Good Lord.
I heard the movie was kind of a mess.
Yeah, I could see what they were going for, and they could have totally had some serious potential with it. But you can tell that something happened in the editing room that did not need to happen. Like, the pacing was just so weird.
From what the rumor is, the backlash from the grimdark that was Dawn of Justice caused them to go back and add some levity.
Goof it up a little. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why some of the narrative is a little off put or a little out of whack because it looks like there were a lot of hands
Hmm.
in the pot trying to trying too hard to make it work,
Yeah.
as it were.
I did like Harley though. I thought her character was fun enough. But yeah,
And I hear that
Will Smith played Will
Deadshot is
Smith.
basically Will Smith playing Deadshot playing Will Smith.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah, it just seemed. It seems like there should have been a couple of movies leading up to it.
Right.
Because you can't introduce that many interesting characters in 20 minutes,
Well,
and
I
you
listened
can't
to.
you
Go
can't
ahead.
expect them to bond over the course of a single mission.
Right. I listened
Yeah.
to a review, and they were talking to, like, they ended the review with what would it take to make this a good movie for you, like. The person that saw it, they're like, and their guest when they were talking about it, like, what would it take to make this a better movie for you to have enjoyed it more? And the consensus between the two of them was smaller cast,
Yeah.
because he's like, this is supposed to be a covert group doing black ops missions, and there's like 12 of them.
hmm
That's
Oh,
not
and
a that's not a covert mission. That's a baseball team.
And it's not just the squad. There's
Right, exactly.
there's like a full SEAL team with them.
Exactly, and he's like, a smaller team would have made sense.
hmm
A better, a real villain, like a better legitimate villain,
hmm
and um, time for them to have built a team, and show that they're bad guys. Like,
Yeah.
they like have bad people doing bad things.
Yeah.
And he also said that Deadshot should not have been the one that name dropped Suicide Squad.
hmm
He said it would have been better in a Rico's Roughnecks kind of way,
Yeah.
where Rick Flag was explaining what the concept of Task Force X was, and then
Yeah.
ended that expositional speech with "Welcome to the Suicide Squad."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's the thing, though. These are all people who are notoriously evil, but they almost made them look like lovable rogues. Like,
exactly, that's what I've heard.
these are not good human beings. They're the worst of the worst, but you made them lovable rogues. You made them, Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean. Even
Right.
though a week before he was captured, he was raping and pillaging all over the Caribbean. Now you're kind of behind him, because they cut out the rape and the pillage, and
Right.
that's kind of what this was.
Right. We don't talk like I heard Deadshot only kills like one person. Like this master assassin.
Yeah, I mean
You don't get to see him be a master assassin.
you only see him like do one assassination.
Right.
That's
The rest of it is just like running and gunning. Now, don't get me wrong, he's still an amazing shot and he does exactly what he's supposed to do, but
Mhm.
that's not his element. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah, he's supposed
No.
to hunker down and snipe.
Yeah, and that's not what he really does.
Sniper, no sniping.
Camping is a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, if you're
Camping-
a coward.
Camping is intense.
Yes, it is.
Oh, dude, have y'all been watching any of the videos from the Battlefield 1 beta?
No.
Oh.
Is it,
Oh.
I hear horses and tanks disappear.
Eric is free. He's been rescued from the well.
I stole my
Huzzah.
He's like that chick in the ring. He finally got out.
He did.
But yeah, it's sick. I cannot wait. I'm wanting to get the beta, but at the same time, I don't usually like playing betas because I don't like. Okay, for one, in a beta you can rank all the way up, but as soon as the beta closes and the actual release comes, you lose all your ranking. And I don't want to just sit there and grind, only to have it all taken away. You know?
Mhm.
Like betas now are more or less just for like let's players to where they can get views on their
Right.
on their
Their
YouTube
accounts.
Yeah. Betas
But-
are for people that regularly talk about games and things like that.
Yeah, PewDiePies of the world. Which, God, did y'all hear what YouTube did? Oh, dude, there's a huge controversy. Apparently, YouTube has been skimming off the top what they've been supposed to be paying their content creators.
See, I didn't hear about that. I heard about their new revenue system, though,
Yeah.
that is borderline censorship.
Mm-hmm.
It's considered borderline censorship by the populace.
Yeah.
That
But as a private entity, they're allowed to censor
right.
what they want.
It's a really touchy area about whether or not it should really be considered censorship. Basically, what it is, if you have a monetized YouTube channel, advertisers participating with YouTube, their ads get put on your monetized channel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the YouTube is now blocking the monetizing of certain channels based on the content of their videos, and basically they've got these new guidelines that map out all of the inappropriate material that makes your video unappealing to advertisers, is basically what it's saying. And if you've got anything, I don't even know. It's basic stuff though. It's like if it's anything offensive, if it's overly sexual, if it's overly violent, if it's overly language, if it's got a lot of foul language, things like that. And it's basically what YouTube has said, as I understand it, if you're going to monetize your site, your page, and your channel, you've got to have a advertising friendly page and video and content so that the advertisers are willing to put their ad on your channel. Does that make sense?
But here's the thing though. It hasn't been people watching it, it's been a YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
And anytime the algorithm flags something, even though the video may be able to continue, YouTube has been scraping off some of the advertising money and taking it back to their bank as opposed to giving it to the content creator. And this one website, it's like a subsidiary of Machinima. They went through and they found like 150 videos that had been flagged or whatever, and then they submitted it to YouTube for a manual review, actual human looking through it, and the humans went through all the videos and said, yeah, you didn't break any form of content here. So YouTube basically has been stealing money because this algorithm has been flagging different videos for no reason.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's
I didn't know about the skimming, but I did know that about the flagging videos, the algorithm erroneously flagging videos.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
No, it's not. And the YouTube creator community and the YouTube support community just went nuts over it. There were a lot of people that they don't know what to do, because there's some people that live on, like, that's their job.
Yeah,
their revenue. Yeah,
a lot of companies. That's your
main
job.
Source of revenue is YouTube.
Since you operate at the behest of YouTube, if you fight them too hard, they could just shut you down.
Exactly.
And there is not a damn thing in the world you can do about it.
Nope. It's like the party's over.
Yeah. YouTube is becoming another one of the big networks.
Yeah, it's like
where you've got to do what the board says.
All the promises of the internet are beginning to diminish. That I hate to say it, Web 2.0, because we're so beyond Web 2.0 now. Like,
Mhm.
people need to stop saying that phrase, but um, it's it's the user created generation
Hmm.
of YouTube um, and Vimeo and all the other stuff that what made the internet what it is now, where we as a consumer are also the producers.
Yeah.
The bubble's bursting and the party's over.
Yeah, it's basically the American cavalry coming in to shut down the Old West.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the best way I can
No,
put
it
it.
really is.
The internet has been the Wild West for the last 20 years, and now they're bringing a kind of pseudo law to it, and it's basically it's gonna. In the end, it's probably going to do one of two things. One, people will revolt and they'll stop. Online revolt anyway. Or everybody's just going to run to Tor to where they can do whatever the hell they want to do.
Right.
So,
Right.
not that I spend a whole lot of time in the deep web or anything. Oh, crazy time. So what's new?
Uncomfortable silences.
yeah.
And start.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing for me. I'm boring.
Crushing puss?
No, not even.
Oh.
I mean, I think Chris and Mikey know this. I close on my house tomorrow.
Right on.
I did know this. So.
So in October there'll be a UFC fight party at my new house.
What the hell?
I'm going down rabbit holes, Beef. Just go with it.
Watching the same thing.
At least it wasn't.
Just go with it.
At least it wasn't bagpipes this time.
It's true.
Is
Is
Kermit,
Chris even still here?
Sorry,
ask
Chris.
No,
sit
I'm here.
back and relax.
I hit the button. My bad.
Rocket Pops were always pretty nice.
So Joe Manganiello, or however you say his name, is going to be
Manganiello.
Deathstroke.
Yes. It's gonna be.
I'm not upset with that casting.
Nope.
Hmm.
I'm down. He's gonna be an interesting version, because I've not seen like super chiseled Deathstroke before. But I mean the Deathstroke on Arrow wasn't. He was. I mean he was in decent shape, especially for fighting with Stephen Amell. But nobody. I mean that Manganiello has like the body of a god.
Yeah.
Like,
I
As
really,
a straight dude, I can say that. It's just ridiculous.
I really hope the movie of him playing Randy Savage actually comes to fruition.
God, that would be amazing.
Because when he did that impersonation of Macho Man, it was spot on. I think he could do an amazing job.
It really was.
And I like Joe Manganiello. He's always been a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
He is one of those people that make you feel like much less of a man.
Oh yeah,
And he wrote a book.
his book is great
He
though.
made a documentary about LeBaron.
What's his book?
His book is called like Evolve or Evolution or something like that. It's this combination. It's this like autobiographical fitness book.
Oh,
And he talks about how I have the audio version, and apparently the actual book has exercises in it. Like the back half of it is like actually a fitness guide. But he talks about how he went from being a scrawny kid who couldn't put on muscle to being this just mountain of a man now, and it's really funny. And I've wondered how it comes across in the book, like the written version, because he reads the audiobook and he drops True Blood so many times.
Yeah.
Because he's talking about that's when he really like got hardcore on the bodybuilding and everything, and he's like, when I was cast as such and such in True Blood.
Alcide Erbo.
Yeah, and he keeps dropping that throughout the whole book. And it's really amusing listening to him read it, because he has just the way that he just normally talks is really, he has an interesting cadence and an interesting voice. But it's a fun book because he talks about being like that. There was like this chemistry teacher that had a big weight room thing set up in his garage, and the football players and the athletes that were scrawny and wanted to bulk up, but the coaches wouldn't give them the time to do it because they didn't care about them because they were scrawny. He would train them, and he's like, now in hindsight, in the 70s, this nice old man asked a bunch of teenage boys to come to his garage and lift weights. That probably, he's like, Chris Hansen would probably get involved if this works now. But yeah, it's pretty.
Well, I mean,
it's a pretty interesting story.
You can see the transformation he took on screen, because like what he looked like in True Blood is so much different than what he looked like in Spider-Man 1 when he played the bully.
Yeah, when he was Flash Thompson in Spider-Man. Yeah. Or even when he was on early, like, season 1 of How I Met Your Mother.
He was through. Versus how he was at the end of How I Met Your Mother.
Right, exactly.
Cracker.
Oh, I know, right?
I'm looking at the flat at Spider-Man. I was like, crap.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when he was like, why can't dudes bro down or brunch down? Why can't two bros brunch down? And then when he tried to screw him over in season 7 or whatever, he was coming off of True Blood, so he was huge. But yeah, and even the cover of his book, it's supposed to be like this. Again, it's kind of an autobiography thing, but he still looks jacked on the cover of that book. It's ridiculous.
Off topic, was there like a shooting at a high school or something?
Mm-hmm. In West Texas, there was a shooting. It was a chick too. Not to sound sexist, but I don't know.
Oh.
She did.
Oh, they got her?
No, she got
herself.
Got herself. Yeah. It was one student, one officer, and the shooter. Now I don't know if the shooter or if the student and the officer died, but I know they were shot, and then she took her own life. But I don't care if it sounds sexist. I was surprised when I read that the shooter was a female.
She was 14, Beej, so no, she's not hot.
Well, okay, if we were in the 19th century.
If we were in the 19th century, she's like a married hag by now.
Oh, yeah. If not, she's a spinster at this point. I mean,
right? Talked about in hushed tones as she walks through town. But yeah, no, there was a shooting out in West Texas, and somewhere, I don't remember, like in California or something. I don't remember where it was. There were two teenagers playing with a handgun, because teenagers should know better than that. But a guy, like whoever had the gun, accidentally shot and killed his best friend, and couldn't deal, so he shot himself too.
Yeah, no, that wasn't an accident. I've never heard of an accidental murder-suicide.
But yeah, that's the way the story was reported. Was it was an accidental murder-suicide.
Yeah, that's how you make the parents feel better. That sucks. Well, they were probably high, like in those commercials, like 10 years ago. The
I'm
kids
so
were smoking
high.
pot.
I'm immortal. Nothing can hurt me.
Yeah, bam.
Watch.
Somebody asked me recently how I learned how to do something, and my response was, "You, all right? I learned it by watching you." I had no idea what I was talking about.
They
And
are.
it's someone who should have. It's someone that was age appropriate to have gotten that joke.
Oh, so these aren't post-Reagan people that heard that joke. These were people our age.
Yes, it was somebody our age that was
I
that
learned
should
it from
have.
you, Dad.
Yeah, you, all right? I learned it by watching you. And yeah, she didn't get the joke.
Mm.
Sad day.
Sad day. It was Davis.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
You know what, though? I'm going to admit, I've never seen this PSA.
How have you never seen
But you're
this PSA?
familiar-
I was 4.
You didn't watch PBS?
God, dude.
I've never seen the original PSA, but I still know the whole. I still know the whole premise.
Do you remember the "This is your brain"?
No, I got that
This
one.
is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain after lying to your friends.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is your
yeah,
friend when
the
you
Rachel Lee
drop
Cook
out.
Yeah,
Rachel
the
Lee
Rachel Lee Cook
That was
beating up the
amazing
kitchen
one.
with the frying pan. Heck yeah.
Bitch was crazy.
And
she's
you gotta
in Brit, what do
wonder-
you expect?
She was all that in that commercial.
Oh, Chris, you're better than that.
No, I'm not.
Even for your puns.
No, I'm
even
not.
for your puns, you're better than that. Oh.
Yeah. So speaking of puns, Punderdome had their championship recently.
Oh yeah.
What? I heard you
Yeah.
talking about it today.
Yeah, Punderdome had their championship recently. They actually ran a story on the news.
You talking about
clip-
the one down in Austin, or?
No, in New York, where it started. They actually showed a clip on the news, and the subject was fruits and vegetables. And the guy said, "Does anybody here use Uber? I love Uber, but it's not really a cab. It's just cab-ish."
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Did y'all hear about
Fruits and
the
vegetables.
the Uber program going on up in Pittsburgh right now?
No.
They are testing out self-driving Uber cars.
What?
That's going to end well.
Yeah, you can't actually like pick it out. You just go through the Uber list like you normally do, and you select the driver. And if it pulls up, it's got to be so uncomfortable. When you get in the car, the person will say, this is one of our test prototypes. And in the front seat, you'll have a scientist taking notes. And in the driver's seat, you'll have somebody sitting there just in case. And you're not allowed to speak to either one of them.
That's creepy as hell.
I know, right? Like, well, the
Now
ride,
imagine being in the car drunk.
at least the ride is free.
Huh.
But
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, at the same time, you're sitting there going, I'm watching the car drive itself with a scientist taking notes. Seems like this shouldn't be allowed on the road unless scientists have already cleared it. But hey, okay, whatever.
Right.
I'm just going to sit back here and do my taxi cab confessional sex with my girlfriend or this floozy I got from the bar.
Right.
And let's see how this handles going down the road, rocking back and forth.
Admit it, PJ, you're the floozy from the bar.
Yeah.
So,
I'm fine with that.
should it alarm anyone doing this study if they give them an orange jumpsuit with a black and white circle on the chest before they get in the car?
Right?
Should that alarm anyone?
Yeah, ignore the big concrete wall in front of
I
us
thought it
with
was
all the
blue.
yellow and black tape.
Right. I can't believe that was a cartoon.
I know.
Can we just talk about that for a second? There was a cartoon and an entire toy line
I had the
about
action figures.
anthropomorphic crash test dummies.
I had the action figures, and if you hit them just right, their eyes and
popped
ears
apart.
popped out. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey. When I was in 6th grade, I actually dressed as one at a mall to raise awareness of
Crash
car
test
accidents and wearing
dummy.
your seatbelt. Yeah.
The crash test dummy insurance or something.
No, it was just like I was a walking PSA. Like,
Nice.
just being. I don't even. I
We're
think I was
here.
Being, like,
We can't
credit for-
steer. Get used to it.
Speaking of
See, now that's a funny joke.
I got one.
speaking
It's only
of
because I'm back. Because normally I'm the one who has to provide the unfunny jokes. You were picking up the slack for me last time, Chris. I appreciate it.
Truth.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
on the topic of cars, apparently in the next few days, a car is going to be coming out that actually has these really cool looking solar panels on top, and apparently it will go towards powering your engine and your radio and stuff like that.
Nice.
So yeah, and it's a fully electric car, so it looks like we may be on the cusp of telling Big Oil to go suck a fatty, which I think's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No more oil.
I know. Be
Right.
pretty sweet.
That would be awesome. So the iPhone 7 is a thing.
Yeah, that's.
They
They-
took away the headphone jack.
Yep.
Did you hear about this, Beach?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so iPhone 7.
Which was the worst kept secret ever.
It was. Everybody knew they were going to do this. Apple announces the iPhone 7 yesterday, and it is one of those. It's the least original phone they've had. Like the stuff that it does, it's not impressive at all. And once again, everything they're doing with it, Android's already doing.
Yeah.
But in innovation for innovation's sake, like for them to go, look what we did this thing. They took away the headphone jack. There is no standard headphone jack on the iPhone 7.
Bluetooth only, or?
No, wireless, but the charge port
Mm-hmm.
with the Thunderbolt charge port, which is a sort of a fancy USB port, because it does. I mean, it transfers data and it charges and things like that. That's where your audio is going to come from, because it's supposed to be a purely digital signal for your headphones. But you have to buy proprietary headphones to get that. Now, it does come with a dongle adapter of Thunderbolt to standard headphone jack to mini plug, but they're wanting everyone to buy these JBL and Beats
$150
and whatnot headphones with a Thunderbolt plug on it. Here's the thing, okay, that's great. You include the adapter, that's fine. Here's the thing, though. You are forced to make a choice: charge or headphones.
Right.
If you have a case that has a battery on it, the way that works is it connects to the charge port.
Mm-hmm.
You have lost wired headphone capability. Unless they do a pass-through, maybe.
Sounds like they're trying to make back all that Beats by Dre money they spent.
But
Forcing
yeah.
people to...
Yeah, but yeah, you eliminate the ability to charge and use wired headphones.
That's
Like, this is
God, that's
completely
dumb.
ridiculous. It is
Yeah.
so dumb.
Well, it's kind of like with the original iPad. Everybody was like, why do you not have a USB port?
Right.
You know?
It still doesn't.
It's so stupid.
And I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of the Thunderbolt current at all, because where it's placed, it actually constant. We've had to replace our charging cables so many times because the ends get burnt. And
Get
like the
burnt?
connection, yeah. Like I'll have Nicole bring you one of our old charging cables, and you can look at the Thunderbolt, like standard use. Like we're not high power using it. Like, but the connector gets burnt, and so you have to replace it because it won't charge anymore.
Interesting.
I bet you could even Google.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't heard of that issue before. So, it's very interesting. So, the video game Kamen Rider is going to start soon, Mikey.
What?
Yeah.
What system?
No, the video game one. Remember?
Oh yeah, no, I remember now. Yes.
The new, yeah. Oh yeah, Beej, I haven't even told you this. The Kamen Rider, which is the sister show to Super Sentai, which is Japanese Power Rangers. The new series that's starting up in the next few weeks, like first weekend in October at the latest, is called X-Aid. I don't know why it's called that, but it's a video game based. Like the hook is video games, and there are multiple writers with multiple video game based abilities, and it is kind of like the concept is kind of awesome. There's a regular, like the main writer. There's an adventure, a first-person shooter, and a racer. And they're all game-based, and like they have a gamepad as like their chest plate is a gamepad. It's ridiculous and awesome, and I'm very excited. It debuts October 2nd. I just looked it up. It debuts on October 2nd. And all of the writers themselves are level 2 of the writer, because the level 1 is this weird chibi looking fat thing that runs around, and then it becomes level 2 and becomes the new like the actual one. But yeah, there's the RPG gamer, this shooting game, and the racer are all of his backup friend, backup. But it's I'm intrigued at the idea.
Yeah.
Of a video game based superhero. Haven't had one since Captain N, the Game Master. That was a good show.
Was good.
Have you guys seen about this show, Son of Zorn?
I'm sorry, what?
Son of Zorn?
Son of Zorn looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Son of Zorn.
Oh yeah.
The trailer that they showed at the upfronts looks wonderful. It looks like an Adult Swim show. I'm very surprised they're putting this on broadcast TV.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they put Family Guy on broadcast TV, which is definitely an Adult Swim type show.
Yeah, but it was originally paired with The Simpsons before Adult Swim was a thing. This is totally something that Adult Swim would do. Is what I'm saying. Like, it's Adult Swim is a thing and has shows like this, and I'm very surprised that Fox is willing to go for a show that is this this non-traditional. But yeah, that thing looks hilarious. I can't see it lasting very long. I think it'll get tired after a while.
Yeah, well,
I'm surprised Comedy Central didn't try and pick it up first.
Yeah, because it does look like a Comedy Central show too.
Yeah.
Well, but to be fair, they probably pitched it to the broadcast networks before going to cable, and
right. It just and it may not do well on Fox and land on Comedy Central or Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But it definitely, I don't know. It looks like it's got potential, and I am gonna check it out.
Yeah,
But
but then again, Fox Corp and all of its subsidiaries seem to be going through a bit of a shakeup right now. Like, the head of Fox News was recently ousted because of sexual harassment, and the chick that he sexually harassed for years and years just won a $20 million suit against him. A lot of old timers from Fox News are starting to flee like a sinking ship. So I think Fox may be going through a bit of a transitional period right now. So I guess people are tired of listening to yelling all the time.
Why are we yelling?
Loud
I don't know what we're
noises.
yelling about. So speaking of Fox News,
Oh dear God.
did anyone watch the roast of Rob Lowe?
I didn't have to.
Well,
That was the worst idea in the history of ever.
Well, they
Okay.
tore into Ann Coulter though.
that's
No,
what I
that's
was
what
just
that's what I'm
about to
saying.
talk about.
Her being on that was the worst idea in the history of
Oh
ever.
my God,
She had to know that that was not going to end well for her.
they eviscerated her.
And did y'all see that terrible joke that she opened with?
No, I haven't seen
Oh.
any of hers.
God, it was.
I've just seen the
See,
evisceration.
Here's the thing. They have writers for that show, and you're able to give notes, but she rejected all the notes. So she went up there with material she wrote,
Yes.
and one of the first things she said was, I'm, surrounded by a bunch of Democrats, and hopefully I can stand up here and convince you all to vote for Trump. And of course there was a boo, and she was like, especially you, David Spade, because I want to prove to the world that yes, Spades will vote for Trump.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. She actually said that, and they didn't edit it out.
Well, Jeffrey Ross said
When she said that, I turned the channel. I was like, nope, I'm not going to be a part of this.
she said that, or Jeffrey Ross said that they edited the that the roast was edited
To make her look better.
to make her look better.
Mhm.
Like apparently they just crucified her, and what aired was the nice part.
Oh, no, I definitely saw a couple of repeat shots of somebody would tell a joke, and then they would pan over to her, and I was like, you just duplicated a shot from earlier.
Yeah.
And nobody is that robotic that they make the exact same movement and response.
Yeah.
So
No.
I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced that Ann Coulter isn't a robot. So.
mm.
But yeah, no, I watched the highlights of the shots at Ann Coulter, and some of that stuff was vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, okay, I will say it was the worst idea by Comedy Central.
Mhm.
Ann Coulter accomplished exactly what Ann Coulter wants to accomplish, which is she gets to go on there. She knows that she's going to be eviscerated, and so her supporters are going to give her sympathy,
Right.
and she's going to be able to plug her book. I mean, that's the main
Exactly.
reason she was there.
She plugged her book in the middle of a roast.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I saw that she was going to be there, and because one of my friends from college actually had posted about how there was a very distinct lack of diversity, and my response was, well, Ann Coulter's there. They can't have any. She'd be freaked out if there was any diversity there.
Right.
But you have, like, Ann Coulter being there, you know that it's all marketing for her. She doesn't care. She knows how these kind of people, like, what that particular audience is going to feel about her.
Yeah, and everybody that is part of the casting and stuff like that all said she was the last case scenario. Like, they asked several people that just couldn't do it, and they were like, okay, fine, Ann Coulter, how about that? Yeah, that might be funny. And then It
because
wasn't.
because Peyton Manning is a known conservative as a court like he's a
And he
known
killed it.
conservative, and he killed it because he made
Yeah.
like one he's not intentionally divisive the way that Ann Coulter is, and two he went out there and had fun.
Yeah. And Coulter she's a professional troll. That's
Yeah.
all she does.
I mean, I think her and Rush Limbaugh both. I mean, I don't know that they believe half the stuff they actually say. They just say it because it boosts their numbers.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, if I thought that I could make the same kind of money those two do, yeah, I would totally sell out. I got no problem with that. And then when I retire, I'm like, that was all an act, right? I don't
Yeah.
really think those things.
Like I don't doubt that Ann Coulter and Rush Limbaugh are both conservatives. I just doubt that they believe a lot of the more extreme stuff that they say.
Yeah, well, Rush Limbaugh, he kind of made a lot more sense to me when it came out that he was like viciously addicted to OxyContin.
Yeah, right.
Like,
That explains so much.
yeah, whenever they said
And-
he took so much OxyContin he went deaf temporarily, I was like, oh, okay.
And then
That's
you
all-
flash back to the Rachel E. Cook.
Yeah, I was like, it's all
your-
coming together.
This is your listenership when you're on opiates.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh, okay, he was taking legal heroin all day, every day. I can forgive everything he said until now. Now, everything
Right.
he said since he got clean, I can't defend that. But everything before that, I can just go, oh, poor guy.
Right.
And then they thought it'd be a good idea to put him on Monday Night Football. And that lasted like 2 weeks before he said something, before the opiate said something stupid.
Before heroin spoke for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I think they should have followed up by putting Marion Barry on Monday Night Football. I mean, we've got heroin, now let's go with crack. Let's see
Yeah,
what-
it was kind of like the commentators from South Park when they played football that time. I haven't seen a Jew run like that since Poland, 1938.
Would you be quiet? You're going to get us fired again.
Oh God. That reminds me. I watched basketball recently.
Oh, yeah.
Revisited basketball recently.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
It's ridiculous as all hell, but I still love it.
It really is.
And that was like
really is
the-
just
the pinnacle of Yasmin Bleeth's beauty.
right.
Like after that, I mean, it was just downhill. Got you was hot.
But yeah, it was.
Was Jenna Jameson in that, or was that?
No, that was Victoria
it's,
Silvstedt, Playmate of the Year.
yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
no.
Who is that?
Not Victoria
Silvstedt.
Silvstedt Playmate of the Year. The one that was kind of like hooked up with the bad guy.
Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny
Jenna
McCarthy.
That's who that
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Jenny McCarthy.
Has
love-
Jenna Jameson ever, like, besides doing the movie Porn and Chicken, has Jenna Jameson ever done anything legit?
Private Parts.
Yeah.
She was
Okay.
she was in the film adaptation of Private Parts
Oh.
as herself. Now, I say
then-
that
then-
she was a guest on Howard's show in the movie.
Right.
Now, I don't know if she was playing herself or what, but she was a guest on Howard's show in Private Parts, if I remember correctly.
I haven't
It's
seen
been a
that
long
movie
time
in a
since I've seen that
long
movie.
time.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen that movie. It was actually a way better movie than I thought it was going to be.
I'm looking through 20 years of nostalgia, and I remember liking it. Now, whether or not I would like it now, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I actually enjoyed watching it the first time.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I'm not a big Howard Stern fan. So.
I'm not either, but I don't even know why I watched it. I think I just watched it out of morbid curiosity, and it ended up actually being really good.
Yeah. The guy gets paid like $100 billion from Sirius XM now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy how much money that man makes.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy.
For doing nothing that it's not unique anymore.
No, it's not.
I
Well,
mean, every talk show on
but-
Sirius XM goes so much further than Howard Stern ever did in
Yeah,
terms of content.
I'm tired of one of the talk shows on Sirius XM.
Which one?
I love Jason Ellis show on Faction.
I love the Jason Ellis show. I listen to it every day.
But-
You and
but
I
see, here's-
are enemies now.
No,
Right.
here's what
Red Dragons.
I'm not. Here's
Is it because
I'm not a talk
it's-
show physic that
It's
Faction
because
plays.
he's bisexual, isn't it? You bigot. Oh,
I didn't know that about him. I didn't care.
oh, okay.
Like I said, I like the music that Faction plays, but they've
Mm.
plugged Jason Ellis so much that I don't get to hear music on Faction anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And they
Well-
haven't replaced. They haven't made another station that plays that music.
Not really, no. Like,
So I have no problem with Jason Ellis. And
Octane is like as
in-
close as you can get, but it's not.
yeah, but it doesn't have. Like I liked the spectrum of music that they play of action of punk and some hip hop and some rock and occasionally even what Jason Ellis plays where he'll play just some of the most random stuff ever.
Yeah, yeah. Now I will say, like, the Jason Ellis show, they moved to mornings, and it's like 3 hours long, and then they do the replay
Yeah,
at like 1 in the afternoon. So you're getting like 6 hours of Ellis out of the
and
24.
like 2 hours of music.
Yeah, out of the 12 hours that people are actually on the road listening.
Right.
So yeah, I get that.
Like it used to be that it was just in the afternoon. Then they
Mhm.
played the best of in the Then they started doing the best of in the morning,
Hmm.
and it's gone to the point of like I don't mind like if I liked talk radio, I might listen to Jason Ellis more, and occasionally I will listen to him because like Kevin Smith was on there recently, and I loved
Yeah.
what Kevin Smith was saying on there.
Last week, I think he was on there.
Yeah, I'll occasionally listen to that, but the problem is that I don't get the music that I really liked because before the merger, Sirius had a punk channel,
Hmm.
and so I could get my punk music from that when Jason Ellis was on. But after the merger, they got rid of the punk channel, so
Yeah. Well, you can always listen to Mark McGrath's show on 90s. On the 90s station, I know
I
you
do.
like.
I'll listen. I'm not gonna lie. I listen to it if it's on.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it if it's on. If I'm driving.
Baby.
Boy, the years did not
Although
agree
that first
with Mark.
album from Sugar Ray, the one that Fly is on,
Mm.
Fly is the only song that's like that. Everything else is like pretty much is pretty hard. Like, well, I
Yeah.
won't say pretty hard, but it's harder.
Yeah.
Like it was like I don't think they were planning on becoming like when they released that album, they were planning on becoming famous for Fly.
Yeah. Well, Sugar Ray is kind of like 311, insofar as there's like 2 songs I love, and the rest of them I'm not a fan.
I liked 1459, the album.
Mm.
I didn't really listen to much of them after that.
Yeah.
So
Chris?
I love the 80s. Don't get like 80s music, don't get me wrong, but I have much more I find myself with much more emotional attachment to 90s music
Oh yeah.
because it's literally the soundtrack of my youth.
Yeah, with your Sum 41s and your Jimmy Eats World and
Right.
well, I
And-
think, but there's still more 2000s. Some 41 and Jimmy Eats World at least.
Mm.
But yeah, like I really like the 90s station on Sirius, and the back in the day replay with Downtown Julie Brown
Does it for Chris every time.
is it really does. I mean, every now and then I'll catch it like this time of year, and it's like 99 when I was 18 and just out of high school,
You don't know what you want?
and so like anything they play, any like top 40 countdown they do on the weekends from like 97 to 99, like 97 through 99, that was like the soundtrack of my junior and senior year of high school.
Yeah.
And when I had my own vehicle, and
It was the soundtrack to American Pie.
it was, and it was like dances and prom and everything. I'm like, this is the what the DJ played at prom.
Mhm.
And you had everything, because you had your pop stuff,
Mhm.
and then you had your slow jams with Boys to Men,
Yeah.
and it was just I have a much deeper emotional connection to 90s music than I thought I did.
Yeah. Well, like my deepest emotional connections, of course, I have some that really strike a chord from the 90s. Mine are from the mid 2000s, because that's when I was traveling around with bands and stuff like that. So I got to listen to a lot of good music, got to go to a lot of concerts, and it was carefree days.
Right.
That was my freedom time, because I grew up in Winsboro. There wasn't a whole lot to experience in the 90s.
Right.
So in the early to mid 2000s is like my peak for like indie rock and stuff like that. But I will say one thing I love about SiriusXM is they don't seem to care, because I bought my my XM receiver right at a year ago, and I got the 3-month trial.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the 3-month trial, they shut off my thing, and I called them. I was like, "Yeah, I was just needing to activate this this thing." They were like, "Oh, okay. Well, what's your SiriusXM code?" And I gave it to them. They're like, "Okay, well, your 3-month trial has begun. Congratulations. Thank you. Welcome to SiriusXM." And I was like, "Okay." And so I got the first 6 months free, and they have never called me back. So I've had like 6 months of free service.
Nice.
Nice.
So I guess
No,
I just kind of slipped in there, and they just don't care to look it up.
I leave my radio. Lately, I've been leaving it playing on lithium most of the time.
Now I do listen to a lot of
'Cause
lithium. Yeah.
Because that was my middle school and high school years right there.
I listen to a
Right.
lot of lithium. Alt Nation is pretty great. About
Yeah, I listen
60
to
about 65% of the time I love Alt Nation, and then there's 35% of the time I'm like, this is not alternative rock.
right.
What is
This is why we don't listen to the Edge anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, like last year there was this song that was called S.O.P., and it just kind of went, son of a bitch, give me a drink.
I need a drink.
Yeah, and when I was listening to that, I was like, that's not alt music. That's something
not
you
even a
would-
good song.
No, like, when I heard that, I was like, that's not alt rock. That's something you would hear in like a trashy dive bar in 1970s with truckers outside. I mean, it was not.
Well, but see, that's the
It
problem.
had
is
no
that alt
it had no
music is
business
being
there.
hijacked by hipsters, and they like the kind of music that you would listen to outside a dive bar that truckers hung out in the 1970s.
Yeah, drinking your Pabst Blue Rimmon and with your big beard and your flannel shirt. I get it.
PBR.
Yeah, PBR. PBR openly admits that the hipster culture brought them back, because the hipster culture really hit hard around 2007, and they saw a gigantic spike in sales. And they were like, we didn't do any advertising. It just started flying off the shelves. I'm like, God.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, PBR to go from just, okay, there's nothing else. Well, they don't even have a Keystone Ice. I guess I'm going to have PBR tonight. To being something you can't hardly find anymore.
And I was just
hipsters are
about to
bulking up.
reference Keystone. I was just about to say that would be like, all of a sudden, Keystone is... You can't even buy Keystone anywhere.
Oh, God, Keystone. I had so many nights on Keystone back
Keystone,
in the day.
Okay,
when you're
now-
not
now here's my
quite
question.
broke enough to have to buy Lone Star.
Keystone.
But
when
here's
you've got
my
14
question.
bucks and you want a 30 pack.
Here, I've got a serious question for you guys, because this was just me back before
Right.
I quit drinking. Did anybody actually buy Keystone after they turned 21?
Yep.
Like,
I did.
'cause I remember drinking Keystone all the time before I turned 21. I turned
Nope, I
21 and I never drank Keystone again.
I
When
know a lot of
I-
people that buy it.
No,
Some people that still buy it.
Beej is exactly right. When you've only got $15 and you want a 30-pack, that's what Keystone's for.
You feel it the next day. I mean, you definitely feel it in your gut. But
Yeah.
the thing about Keystone is the first 5 taste really bad. After that, you're golden.
Well, it's just Keystone is just Coors off the top of the vat.
Yeah.
No,
And it's
The
seriously,
problem with
it's better than Lone Star though.
It's like basically all Mr. Pibb is Coke that went flat.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Like
Well, I was gonna say,
Keystone
don't-
is when you have standards.
Yeah.
Because when you have no standards and no money, you drink Lone Star.
Yeah. Well,
But-
Lone-
Well, see, I was-
When you have standards and no money but have standards, that's where Keystone comes in.
yeah.
see, I was going to
Basically.
say, the thing I liked about Keystone is that I could get drunk drinking water.
hmm
That's true. It's true. But yeah, no, Keystone, man.
It'll get you there.
It'll get you drunk.
It will. Hey, Chris, remember that time you and I went out to the bar?
It gets you drunk.
Yep.
I'm surprised you do.
Yep.
Boy, thank God for public dumpsters, yeah?
Shut up. Shut up. I was working through some stuff, man.
I just wanted to get wasted. I wasn't working through anything.
I was going through. It's like when Hardwick was dating Chloe.
Yeah. You had to get it out of your system.
I was going through some stuff.
Yeah, well, like me and my buddy, I'm not going to use his real name, so we'll just call him Joe.
His name is. Well, let's just call it what it is. His name is Chris Evans.
No, his name was actually
No.
Joe. He and I were roommates there in college when we lived in Smith Hall, which is enough of a reason to drink.
Yeah, it is.
And
Wait,
we used
did they make
to.
Smith?
Yeah,
Go
they
ahead.
eventually made it co-ed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got to the point where we were like, okay, Keystone is the cheapest thing in the world we can buy, and it gets you well enough to go to where you can still function like a human being. And we got to the point where it was kind of a hair of the dog situation. We were in a fraternity, so we took it to a hard place every night, and every morning before class, we would shotgun 3 Keystones just to get the day going. And it just shows how weak Keystones are because we were fine. We were absolutely fine, except one time when,
This one time.
well,
Except this one time when we weren't.
yeah, well, we were driving over to class, and Commerce has the main road going through Commerce has those. It's 2 ways. You cross over one, and then you cross over another.
Right.
Two one-way streets. Well, I guess I was still feeling a little something from the night before, and I crossed over the first street, and I thought that I was directly in front of the school on the service road, so I turned right. And then all of a sudden, I noticed everybody's flashing their lights at me and honking, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh, you're in your car?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I thought you were walking.
No, everybody started flashing their lights, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then I realized, "Oh, you're going the wrong way down this 2-lane, one-way street." And instead of doing the smart thing, like just turning around in the middle of the road, I was like, "Okay, I'll just go through the intersection. That'll fix everything." and I did a lot of evasive maneuvers in a very short period of time. Oh God, to be 22 again. You ever look back and go, "How did I survive?"
Oh,
Yep.
I relive that a lot. in
Once
my
a year
life.
on my birthday. I've beat death again.
Yeah,
Which is August 15th, folks. August 15th.
that's all a birthday is. It's just us going, "Holy shit, you made it!" Oh, good times.
Yeah. We've told James that we're not celebrating his birthday anymore. We're just celebrating that I haven't killed him yet. That he has survived another year.
Yeah.
So
That's what I should tell Nicole.
yes,
Oh yeah.
after they
Embarrass
get
her
to a
tomorrow.
certain point, it's just like we're not. There's no longer happy birthday. It's congratulations, you survived 365 more days.
Is there any way that you can get everybody tomorrow during dismissal to sing happy birthday to Nicole?
No, that's
Damn.
touchy right now. Sorry, it's not that like under any other circumstances, yeah, but dismissal's really touchy right now. So,
Okay.
yeah, there's stuff going on. So
Because you never did embarrass her last year for her birthday.
yeah, no, there's stuff going on, and so I'm not gonna rock that boat right now.
Fair enough.
Speaking of educational stuff, should we cover ITT Tech?
Oh yeah, we can wrap up with that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
drove by one today. I drive by one today.
ITT
probably the
Tech
last-
has retroactively ceased operations as of June 31st.
June 31st?
June 31st. I know what I said.
There is no June 31st.
Exactly. That's why they had to close.
They couldn't
But
even
no,
get the calendars right. I mean, how
I
else
know,
could we
right?
possibly teach people?
I stand by what I said. But no, they were coming under government scrutiny because the government wasn't getting what it was paying for in providing student aid, and they, from what I understood, there was an accreditation issue as to whether or not the education the students were getting was adequate, and they had just laid down. The government had just laid down an edict that ITT could not enroll any students receiving federal aid, and apparently operate in quarters. So for the third quarter, they weren't allowed to enroll any students third quarter for that received federal aid, and they had to go through all this stuff to fix the problem. And instead of fixing the problem, they were just like, you know what, we're out, we're done. And everybody, like 40,000 students and 8,000 employees just in the Metroplex area are out in the cold now.
Wait, that statistic was only in the Metroplex?
Yes.
Oh,
That wasn't
I thought
nationwide.
you meant nationwide. Oh my god.
Oh, no, 'cause there was,
Can we send it?
2 or 3 campuses in the Metroplex.
Hmm.
Jeez.
I drive past one here in Arlington every day.
Yeah.
Can we send a congratulatory letter to John Oliver, because I have a feeling that he helped this happen.
Probably. But
Oh,
yeah.
so messed up.
And then there were people that were due to graduate at the end of September that are just screwed now.
And God knows they're not going to be able to transfer to a university because
Well, it's like you and I said, you and I were talking about it. I said if DeVry and any other major technical school is smart, they will jump on this for the PR, if nothing else, and accept
Mhm.
any
all transfer credit.
accept any transient student from ITT Tech.
Yeah. I don't know,
and-
unless they're also next on the chopping block.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, no,
that's the problem with for-profit institutions is, I mean, the second you start getting government aid, I mean, that's kind of shady if you really think about it. Like, and the fact that it's not transferable credit to universities. It's just,
Yeah.
and the thing is, what about the alumni? Okay, they were able to get it when it was still accredited by the Department of Education. Okay, so technically speaking, their degrees or certificates, whatever they get there, are still legitimate. But let's face it, in a job interview, it's going to be seen as nothing more than a piece of paper. because your institution no longer exists. So,
Right.
would you hire someone who obviously had a substandard education? No, of course not. Ugh.
Yeah.
And the fact that they receive like $500 million a year.
And see, that's where this all came from.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the piece of paper that isn't not worth anything, it just reminded me of
Your master's
something-
degree.
Well, yeah, no, it did. But no, my principal is a huge fan of Jimmy Fallon and specifically thank you notes.
Hmm.
Jimmy Fallon's thank you note bit, and he had in our very first staff meeting of the year, he brought the thank you note book, the volume 2,
Yes.
that actually has a sound chip in it that plays the music while you're reading, so you can read it with the music.
He showed me that.
And it was he talked about the that we're getting stipends for having higher degrees now. Like that was something the board approved, is that we get if we have a master's degree, we have a higher salary. If we have a doctorate, we have a higher salary, things like that. And he's like, so in the, which I mean most schools do that, but he's like, in the honor of that, I want to read a thank you note from Jimmy Fallon. Thank you, college diploma, for being the most expensive receipt I'll ever hang on my wall.